All right. So do you guys want to get started so that way we're not up all night, just,
Okay, let's go. Let's
part
go.
of the night?
Sure, man.
Let's
You
go.
good, Jeff?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
All right, just making sure.
Actually, hold on. I'm gonna go get. I have my water bottle. It's just on the other side of the room. Also,
Water
I'm not.
bottle?
Yeah. Oh no. I was right about to say I'm literally not drinking tonight because that would make this go like 5 hours.
Even more
That's a good
longer.
point.
Last episode. Last
You didn't drink
episode.
last episode either.
Well, but I kind of was misleading because I said I wasn't having a drink on the podcast, but I had just come from Casual Pint where I had had a couple drinks. So,
Okay.
but this time I'm straight sober. We went to Mexican and I did not have any drinks, and this is
That was a
all water.
really long episode. The Five Iron Frenzy episode. That went a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
I was talking to my
I'm
wife
not
about how
I'm
long
not
the
complaining.
episode was going to go tonight. And I was like, yeah, it's going to go really long. I said, they got this one guy on there that every time he's on the episode, it goes at least an hour. And she was like, is
Oh
that
my
you? I was like,
God.
yeah, that's me.
I can, yeah.
Honestly, it's you
Yeah.
and Angle both. So
Yeah. So
that's how I knew this episode. I was like, this is gonna take forever, but
yeah. You
hopefully I'm
just
in
set it
bed
up.
before midnight.
You set it up,
All right.
Rob. We'll spike it. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me do
Okay.
something really quick because
Okay.
I intentionally didn't prep like overly much because I was like, I don't want to be
No, it's a
rambling.
sharing
oh,
episode.
I didn't
That's
either. So
basically
So
like, yeah,
hopefully,
I mean, you're
hold on.
responsible for your own, yeah, your own
You
cooking
guys are wearing
stuff.
glasses. I feel like I have to wear my
For
glasses
your
now.
glasses, the
So
hat. Yeah, you gotta have the
so there you go.
hat. All right,
Everyone's wearing glasses and hats.
we're all in
Hold on.
uniform now.
Turn my
three
light
bearded
down.
white guys with snapbacks and hats.
We've got
There we go. And welcome back to a very, very special episode of First, Last, and Best. This episode, when I started putting together the Summer of Ska series, this was the episode I had circled and the episode I was most looking forward to. And in all honesty, even if every episode up until this had failed, I would have kept going just to do this one episode. But we will get to that in just a moment. First, let's promote social media accounts. We're over on TikTok, we're over on Facebook, we're over on Instagram. We are at First, Last, and Best Podcast across all three of our social media accounts. You can find reels, you can find our song of the day, you can find out where we're playing. Uh, you can find all sorts of stuff, vinyl collection, random behind the scenes stuff, whatever you're looking for the show. We are there trying to provide it. We're also on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on YouTube. Basically, anywhere you can find a podcast, that's where we are. Uh, Go give it a listen, share with your friends, give it a like, give us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. If we're doing a terrible job, keep that to yourself because I don't want to know. Let's move on to this episode. And this episode is unlike anything we've done so far. And I've teased it a couple times over the last few weeks, talking about how I really want to do episodes where I get some friends together and we talk about bands you should know. And that's what this is. Each of us have picked five bands that we think you should know about and that you should be listening to. And to help me out this week, I've got two very special guests. First, from the lead singer and bass player from Sam's the Hero. We've talked about the Wonder Years. We've talked about MXPX. We have talked about Five Iron Frenzy during our Summer of Ska. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff is back to join us for this very special episode. Welcome back, Jeff.
Thanks, man. I am hydrated. I have carbo loaded. I am ready for the marathon that this episode will be.
This is going to be a very, very long episode. Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be great. Next and finally, you can see him at Game of Jokes. I think, is it still at Star Hill Brewery?
It's at Star Hill Brewery, and when this goes up, it'll be this Saturday, the 8th
This coming
anniversary.
Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Engle is with us once again.
Yay!
Yay! Before he leaves us to go to Japan, He's
I
gonna run
know.
away, and it's a possibility he'll never come back. I'll have to
Whoa.
record at like
I
3 o'clock in the
have my
morning with
way.
him as he is on the other side of the world. So welcome back, guys. Guys, thank you very much for doing this. I know that I've asked a lot of you for this particular series. Each of you have done at least one episode and now coming on to do this insanity. So let me just
It's
explain real
insane.
quick how we got here. I had originally approached Jeff about this episode, and he very much agreed that he thought this was a good idea. Angle says same. We thought about adding a fourth, then we realized how many bands we were picking, and that would have been a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. So we're not going to do that. So
No.
basically, what we did, and
Also, where would we have found a fourth white guy with a beard and hat and
And
glasses?
glasses and a hat.
These are the only three.
Yes.
Chris Fisher, but he wears contacts. So,
Doesn't count.
Patty, come here. And the dog is back. The dog is
Oh,
back to barking because that's what she does. Patty, here. Can you calm down? It's fantastic. So
no.
basically, what we did was the three of us, uh, in snake draft order, picked 5 bands. Um, and we're going to talk about those bands tonight. We may not go into super detail about these bands, but we're going to talk about experiences we've had with them, why we think you should be listening to them, what we think is so great about them. Because honestly, we've spent the last, I want to say, 3 or 4 weeks on top of the bands that we did episodes about, diving into these 15 bands. It was a lot. It was not a chore because all these bands are fantastic. But regardless, this was this was a lot to put on these two. And honestly, I'm thank you guys again for uh taking on the responsibility that is the insanity that I come up with.
You
So
got insane.
it is much appreciated. So let's go ahead because we know this is going to take a while. Let's go ahead and kick off with our first band. And Jeff, since you had the number one pick in the draft, who's the first band you want to talk about tonight?
Oh,
Whoa.
okay. Are we doing them in draft order, or are
We
you?
don't have to do them
Go
in
ahead
draft order. You can go in whatever
yeah.
order you want.
Cool, cool,
That was
cool.
just to pick the bands that we wanted to talk about.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, so the idea, well, first of all, like disclaimer, I love ska. I've talked about on here like primarily a third wave guy. I like my ska with a lot of punk mixed in.
Yeah.
But I am not claiming to be an expert at all. I'm not speaking for ska. Rob,
None
like
of us are, by the
my
way.
my buddy
Yeah,
Rob just
no
says, "Hey,
way.
do you want to come talk music with me?" And like, of course, I'm gonna say yes. Like, yeah, let's just sit down and talk because it's
Right.
fun. So I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
no.
No, no,
Um,
no, no, no.
so
You can if you want to. You don't have to.
but I'm not going
Yeah.
I'm
to
not going to
because
bend your arm. Well, I
Yeah,
might, but still.
and besides listening specifically to ska, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, outside of that, I mean, I know some lore of some of the bands, obviously, but yes, same here. I'm not. I don't think any of us are claiming to be any geniuses or
Not
experts
even
in any
close.
way. We just like music. We're here to
Yes.
talk about it. So yeah, no pressure in that regard.
cool,
Yeah,
No,
cool.
let's get this all like out on the table. We're not experts. We have no idea
yeah.
what we're talking about 90% of the
We're
time.
just friends
We're
talking
just
music.
three random guys that really enjoy music. All
Yes,
of us are musicians in some way, shape, or form,
yeah.
and it's just
But
I we enjoy this type of music. Yes, third wave is predominantly what we're about, but at the same time, it's because of third wave that we have been able to open up to different experiences in different bands. Because we started listening to bands like Less Than Jake, Five Iron Frenzy, Real Big Fish, Mighty Mighty Bosstones, bands like that, that opened the door for us to go listen to bands like uh good night, The Toasters or
yeah,
Pie Tasters,
Madness, yeah,
Madness,
specials.
the Specials. I mean, it's because we took time and invested in those bands that we're able to find others and pursue the genre. We may not know every little detail, and honestly, there's a lot on the political side that we don't really know about, and I can't speak fluently with. But at the same time, I appreciate everything that like those bands and even bands today are putting out there to try and make a difference through their music. And honestly, the two-tone, third wave, it doesn't matter what you listen to. Ska is such an amazing genre and all-encompassing that it can be enjoyed. And everyone that I've met who says that they are big fans of ska are some of the most welcoming people I've ever met in my life. So that's basically where we're coming from. We're not scholars. We're just guys that enjoy music. So,
Yeah.
although I have read In Defense of Ska, if you have not read it, I highly recommend it. So,
Yeah,
but anyways,
for in
Jeff,
defense, we've been defending ska so much in these past, and I mean, so well said, Rob. Yeah, I mean, come
since
on.
the end of
I mean,
July, I've been doing this for at least a month.
yeah,
So,
it shows. It shows. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, first band, who do we
All right,
got?
let's jump in. So we were talking bands that we think ska bands that we think everybody needs to be listening to. And so kind of ran a mix of like some that were already very popular and then
Yeah,
some that not so much, but it's just like so my first band I think is definitely one that if you are in the genre, if you listen to ska regularly, you probably are already listening to them. But on the off chance that you're not, you need to be listening to Millington. They
yes,
are incredible. Every time that like I'm shuffling and a Millington song comes on, my wife's like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, "It's Millington." She's like, "Oh, I like this." I'm like, "Yeah." It's every time it's Millington.
of course
Um,
you do.
they are such a great fusion of like pop punk and ska together. Their production is amazing.
Absolutely.
Their lead singer's voice just so fits what they do so well. Um, and they're just really, really creative. Their horn lines are great. Their song arrangement is great. I don't know how much we're going to talk into like recommendations or stuff, but the way that I got into Millington initially was they have, and I highly recommend them. They have two EPs called Brass Emo Volume One and Volume Two,
Yep.
which are just
Yes, they
two
do.
EPs of them covering emo songs, like emo anthems. With a few exceptions, you'll know these songs, and they just cover them in ska format. And so I found them through that first. Was very, very impressed, and then was like, "Oh, let me check out their originals." And their originals did not disappoint at all. Their originals
Not at
are
all.
incredible. So, yeah, if you aren't familiar with them, which again, if you're in the ska genre already, you probably are. But if you're not, you need to go check out Millington because they're incredible. So that was the first band I took.
Millington might be one of the first bands that I found via social media.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, when I first started, like, I think it was like Facebook Reels. They would like short little clips of their songs and then playing live or do, like just goofing around or whatever. And that kind of was what pulled me in.
Mm.
So, and some of the bands that I'm going to be talking about tonight are bands that I found via social media. And it's those bands that honestly, it's amazing what can be done. Because like when we were all coming up, like yeah, we had MySpace maybe, but for the most part, like social media didn't play such a pivotal role in what a band is supposed to be and who a band is. These days, social media, I mean, it may be a little bit bigger than playing live at this point. I mean, obviously, you have to be able to play live and play well, but at the same time, having that social media presence, it can reach beyond just your hometown and can open you up to so much more. And bands like Millington, I mean, they have such a sense in their social media game that they they're starting to reach out much further than in their hometown, which is amazing because they are a band that plays that well and deserves the recognition.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
they've got a
100%.
Yeah, they've got a great DIY ethic and their social media game is on point. And for me, I was familiar with them before I like got onto TikTok. And then as
Yeah.
TikTok starts pushing them into my feed, for me, I'm like, that's confirmation. I'm like, okay, the algorithm is working because I already
Yep.
love them. And now you're showing them to me. So I know I'm in the right part of TikTok. So yeah.
Angle, did you just start listening to Millington when we
Yeah, I
recommended
mean,
it?
yeah, I had never heard of them before, but I mean, for apparently they're from upstate New York, but they definitely sound like literally the two Florida bands,
Mm.
aka Newfound Glory and Less Than Jake. Like if you put them
Yeah,
together, that's basically kind of like their sound. I was listening to them and thinking that. But yeah, no, I mean again, like you were just saying, perfect fusion of the third wave and just that like that pop punk sound that is I guess again like easy core esque type, where you got the Newfound Glory kind of influence type deal. But
yeah,
yeah, just interesting that like yeah, literally complete opposite side of the country, but that's just again like the power of influence from again like places you're not from type deal and like
Yeah.
yeah, that's just interesting. But yeah, no, I had not heard Billington before, but yeah, obviously like I had like one song written down that I really liked, the FML one for sure. Yeah, the fuck well,
yeah.
yes, that's good. Yeah, but yeah, I had not heard Billington before, but yeah, totally. Yeah, sounds like all the shit I grew up loving. Yeah.
I'm
True
happy to
enough.
have put at least one person onto Millington. I'm happy.
Yes,
There we go.
exactly. Yeah. If that was
Um,
the goal, yeah, it happened.
there's
Yeah,
there's a
absolutely.
lot of these that I was not familiar with before this that
Mhm.
I really have been enjoyed checking them out. So that's
That's
been
the main, yeah,
a cool
that's
part of
the other
this.
main thing is literally, yeah, I mean, that's the purpose of this episode. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, why to do it all together is yeah, just sharing music. Yeah.
100%. All
Yeah.
right, Angle, who's your first band?
Okay, I'm gonna stick with this one. It encompasses basically a legacy of one man. And so this is where I deep dive a little bit on one of Ska's huge. I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore of Ska, I think he's on it for sure. And that man is Mike Park. Mike Park is a Korean man who started Asian Man Records.
Yep.
Originally, so he's in California, and yeah, he's been in super many different bands. There's a Skank and Pickle, one
Skanking
Skank and
Pickle.
Pickle. We love Skank and Pickle. One band. While I know the idea of it is to, kind of look racism directly in the face, I don't feel comfortable saying it. So we'll just skip that. But right now he's in a band called the Bruce Lee Band because in Skink and Pickle,
Yep.
his kind of like nickname was Bruce Lee or whatever. So
Yeah.
basically it's his band, but I mean, it's just kind of an all-star lineup. He has Jeff Rosenstock on bass and like of bomb music industry, obviously, and like just kind of an all-star lineup of like when they record it's awesome stuff like from everything like, and he tries to get a little bit of everyone involved. In fact, he's had Jer on some albums as well, so like
Yep.
it's yeah, he's kind of like everybody's punk granddad basically at this juncture. And so and punk yeah, ska punk granddad. And I listen to speak. I do have. I feel like I have some sort of parasocial relationship with him because I do listen to his podcast.
Mm.
It's about the show Degrassi. It's called "I'm in Love with a Girl Named Spike," which is actually a Skink and Pickle song. So all full
Nice.
circle on that one. But yeah, no, he's a very nice man. He sent me free stickers before. I love him. Yeah, and of
That's awesome.
course, and I mean, I would be remiss to say, I mean, just circling it all back around to my love of Alkaline Trio, he allows, or the trio themselves allow him to print as much Alkaline Trio as humanly possible, and he just still continues to make money off of basically everything pre From Here to Infirmary to this day. All the goddammits, all the maybe I'll catch fire and stuff.
Yeah.
He still gets to press them, and I mean he basically lives off that, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very nice that even through all the years, like, yeah, he's still friends with like Dan and Matt and all them, and like, it just goes to show that like, I mean, he truly loves ska in a way that it attracts people like Jared, people like Jeff Rosenstock that just literally just like want to make music with them. One of my favorite songs of his it has the singer Fishbone in it. Like yeah, he just is not
Yeah.
shy about collaborating with people, and that's kind of what the Bruce Lee band is supposed to be about. Basically, it's like bringing everybody together through the power of music, which, as we all know, is powerful stuff.
Amen to that. But dude, Mike Park is a force,
Oh,
man.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
He's practically the king of DIY.
oh yeah, and it
So
all is out of his garage and stuff. He even has his mom help out. He's still like, he's
I've
still
seen
his
that. I've
mom.
seen his
His
videos,
mom
yeah.
is like 80 years old, like boxing up vinyl and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah,
No
absolutely.
joke, dude.
Um,
It's so much. I
yeah,
Mike Park's amazing. I love Skanking Pickle. Uh
absolutely.
that's just a band like you just it,
Even just hearing
it's
the
just
name of it, you're like, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So,
It
but
just makes you
I I I,
feel.
I never really listened to Bruce Lee band until you brought
Hmm.
them up.
Yeah.
So I've been able to do a little bit of a deep dive with them, and
Hmm.
they're dude,
Yeah, it's just an
it's an
all-star
all-star
band.
lineup.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
And you don't get
They
that too often and it
Yeah, and
works.
they barely ever play live. I mean, I think they've maybe done like in the past like 5 years, maybe like five shows max or something. Because
Yeah.
you just got to get all those people in one space to get together and like
That's hard, man, especially when they all
exactly.
have
It's
their
hard.
individual
It's hard,
careers.
especially
So,
when he's running the label and everything. So, I mean, yeah. And I mean, again, we say label, but I mean, it's definitely not for profit. That's for sure. It's
no.
like yeah,
If it was
basically.
for profit, he would not be doing it out of his garage.
100%. Yes, all of these things. Yeah. So yeah, I obviously have to throw a little nod to Bruce Lee band. So
Of
that's it.
course.
I'll throw it to Rob for the next band.
I was gonna say, Jeff, what did you think? Because we didn't really
Oh,
get too
Jeff.
much of.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it. I was familiar with
Nice.
Mike Park and Asian Man,
Hmm.
and Skank and Pickle. I had not listened to much Bruce Lee band.
Nice.
But yeah, the first thing that I keyed in on was that it was just kind of had a rotating, list with him being kind of the and just like you said, super group. The
Yeah.
people that have gone through, I was looking through like all the like different people that have cycled through, people that like from Less Than Jake and other bands have all played with him, which
Yeah,
like you said, it says something about a person by who wants to like be around them, like who you surround yourself with. And so
True.
and a lot about that integrity. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I think a standout for me when I was listening through was I think it's one of the earlier ones, but Superman. It
Oh,
was a lot of
yeah.
fun. It reminded me of like Voodoo Glow Skulls, like just fast, like chaotic,
yes.
like yeah, I enjoyed that track in particular quite a
It's
lot.
got that vibe. Yeah.
But yeah,
Mhm.
no, it was great. I liked them a lot.
Awesome.
That's another great band, Voodoo Glow Skulls.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Oh my God.
100%.
Hmm.
All right. So I was thinking about starting with my number one pick, but I decided I'm going to hold on to them for a little bit longer.
Okay.
And since we've already mentioned them, I feel like we have to talk about them. And
Okay.
once again, my apologies to Jer. I'm going to do my very best. The pronouns are they, them. Uh, and there's a possibility I will slip up. I've done it before and I've apologized before, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize early just in case. But I will do my best not to. Uh, Jer is on my list. One of my early picks in our draft. Started out at Cartoon Network, a lot of covers, which Millington did, but like they've done good sharp. Yeah, I was right. Oh, I did that right without even thinking. They've done a lot of great covers of emo classics. They did at least one Good Charlotte song, which when
Oh,
I heard that for the first time, I sent it to my wife, and she is not the biggest fan of ska, but she did enjoy that. But it wasn't that kind of opened the door to discover their original music and listening to Bother and Bothered. And then their new record that just came out, Death of the Heart, very, very political, very much in your face, very much talking about, uh, not necessarily, I don't, what's the correct right way of saying it? Of speaking on civil rights, which there's a lot of third wave ska, a lot of ska band that won't touch that because they believe it's the third rail. Whereas bands like Jer, bands like the early days of like the English Beat and the Specials and Fishbone where they will grab onto that with both hands and hold on because they believe that it should be talked about and that it should be a part of their art. And I love I love Say Gay or Say Goodnight
Hmm.
is such a great song.
Absolutely.
And just I love his messaging, I love his music, and this is another person that it is because of social media that I found out who they were. And they are easily one of the best ska bands of the last 5 to 10 years. Just musically speaking, the fact that he really truly does have a message and wants to put it out there and wants to speak on it and wants to his truth to be out there. It's amazing. They are truly a pioneer and one of my favorite bands that has come out. So,
Hmm.
Jer is the first band I gotta say. This is a band you should know. Go find them. They are amazing.
That's high praise, man. That's high praise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was familiar with Jer through a band we're going to talk about in a minute
Yep.
that they play in, and then was also familiar with them because of Ska Network because I'm a person
Yep.
who loves covers, pop punk covers, ska covers. I love covers. My band plays covers. We play one minimum every show, and if I can get away, like we've just done full cover shows when I just couldn't be asked to put together a set list. We're like, let's just do all
Nice.
covers. It's a house show. People would rather hear us play, 90s, mid 2000s covers than our own stuff
Yeah.
anyway.
That's true.
But I had not dive too much into their original stuff. It was mostly through their other projects, which I'm intentionally avoiding not naming because I'm going to bring them up next, and then Ska Network. And so this was really I knew that they had solo stuff, but I hadn't really checked it out too much. And so this was a great opportunity. I was surprised by the range of genre. Like I don't know. I don't know if I was expecting just straight up ska, but there's a lot of influence there. There from the different albums, there's a lot of variation in kind of genre influences and stuff. But I really enjoyed it. I loved um, and noted what you said with this new album in particular. I think some of the earlier ones there was a lot of focus on like positivity and unity and being your
Yeah.
full self, and then it definitely seemed like, hey, the time for like just be yourself and be and don't let anyone dull your glitter, right? Like that
Yeah.
kind of the time for that kind of is past, and now it's like, no, there's time to like we need to draw a line in the sand, and we need to like uh be a little more not necessarily combative, but be a little more upfront with what we believe, and stand up for that because obviously culturally there's a need for that. So yeah, I really enjoyed their original stuff. I was not super familiar with it, although I knew them through their other projects. So it was a good
Yeah.
time.
Angle, I knew this was one of the ones you wanted to pick, but I picked them before you did.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, they rip. I mean, that's the like why I had picked them originally, or had them in the chamber. I wanted, to discuss them because it is important. Like, yeah, and I did not expect them to literally like drop the album of the year. Like, yeah, like we were
Yeah.
saying, like, "Death to the Heart." I mean, just that title alone is like pretty like that sums up exactly what the entire album is all about for sure. And I mean, just talk about like multi instrumentalist, like, I mean, they're rapping, the licks on this are great, the horn lines on this are great. Like,
Absolutely.
um, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but one of their songs makes my top five when we finally get to top fives. I know that, yeah, we're way
Nice.
out of that, but yeah, it's just the level of like, yes, I was familiar with Scott Tune Network, and again, I'm not gonna give away what Jeff's next pick is. I know what it is, but I also love that band as well, and so yeah, like they've been all over all sorts of different ska tracks. Again, like they are a valued member of the ska community. It's just awesome that like they have an outlet where they can shine and they deserve it because they're a superstar. Like they, as far as ska is concerned, like are amazing and like are what
100%.
ska is. Ska basically, like when you think of ska now, and you ask, someone who's just getting into it, who's probably a young person, they're like Jer probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that for a
They
fact.
connect
I
to
would hope
this new
so.
generation
I would hope,
better
yeah,
than
exactly. I would hope so, especially again, their social media presence on point, just like Millington. So, I mean, again, I would hope they're connecting with someone again who might be feeling, alone and desolate in times where things are not great at all. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's just like I'm so glad they can be that for somebody. Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. Hmm.
All right, Jeff, we're finally into the second bands.
I think I was gonna hold on to this one longer, except that it just perfect segue. There's no reason not to jump into them now.
Exactly.
So
Go ahead, Jeff.
we're going straight, yeah, we're going straight from Jer into a project that they are also a part of, called We Are the Union.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And who is just one of my favorite ska bands of all time. They are as again, especially with like the kind of ska that I like give me a punk beat. I want, aggressive, give me some breakdowns if you got them. Like, yeah, so We Are the Union is incredible. I got put onto them early, like their very first album. A guy, a mutual friend who actually he used to book us at the Norva, and so he just texted me out of nowhere. We didn't have like a super like friendly relationship. Like he was a mutual friend and he would book us when we played the Norva, we would go through him, but he just
Yeah.
texted me out of nowhere and he was like, "Dude, you need to check out this band." And it was their debut album and I listened to it and from the first track I was sold 100%. That first album is incredible. And I think they have great longevity. I think they have continued to be good. For me, nothing will touch that first album. It's like it's got its special place for me. But if you like ska bands that are on the the more progressive social side, like they're very inclusive, a very diverse lineup. We've already talked about Jer. They are fronted by a trans woman who the most recent album that they wrote talks a lot about that experience and that journey. And so very personal, but very, hopefully relatable, hopefully the kind of people that need to hear that. Like they're feeling represented and it's getting they have something they can connect with and resonate emotionally. So yeah, definitely We Are the Union. If you're not familiar with them and you like again a more aggressive, more punk hardcore leaning ska. It's like if Set Your Goals had less than Jake's horn lines, right? Like it's so they're incredible.
100%.
And so yeah, that's I was gonna save them for later because they're such like a powerhouse for me, but I was like, hey, I gotta follow up Jared with We Are the Union. So
I was gonna say we did Bruce Lee Band where Jer
yeah,
has
we've done all of Jer's
been in
projects.
that. We've done this was just three straight
Just in
Jer
a row.
bands.
Yeah, this is very much Jer
Because
work.
Jer, we love you that much.
well,
Yeah.
Um,
Jared might end up being like the Kevin Bacon of the ska scene because they're so good about
it's a real
collaboration.
possibility.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Jer's the
they do
Kevin
so many
Bacon of ska.
collaborations and invite people in. So it's like the seven steps to Jer for any ska band, I think.
Yeah.
I remember seeing We Are the Union open. I think it was for Real Big Fish. It was either Real Big Fish or Less Than Jake. I don't remember which one, but just being very impressed because it was them, Ballyhoo, and I want to say it was Real Big Fish on the card, or maybe it was Less Than Jake. I honestly don't remember off the top of my
Either
head.
way, that's a hell of a show.
That was one of the better shows I've seen probably in the last 5 years. That was a incredibly tight, and I wish I'd thought to put Ballyhoo on this list, but unfortunately not. There's a lot of bands that we're not talking about tonight that should be, but at the same time, there's nothing we could do about it, except maybe do another episode later on. Who knows? We'll see how this goes. So,
We
but no,
gotta
We Are
keep
the Union. They're
moving.
fantastic. First time I saw them live, I was like, this is an incredible band. So, so. Angle, do you want to talk about We Are the Union or do you want to move on to your
Yeah,
next band?
absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I got privy to We Are the Union around Morbid Obsessions, which is as and yeah, I mean, they're just amazing. I mean, yeah, Hornline's great. What they're kind of the definition of like when you think in your head, okay, what is a ska punk band sound like?
Yeah.
Specifically that that like yeah, and amazingly personal lyrics where it's like, okay, well, again, not that like I'm listening to something and thinking to myself, oh, no one else could be saying this, but it's just like again, where again, it's a point of view that is relatable, but also is so unique to that person's experience. You know what I mean? So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that is invaluable when it comes to ska specifically because I feel like again because of the community because of like the we're all in this together kind of like nature of it. I just feel like bands like We Are the Union like could only exist in a space like ska. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like it's either like it's weirdly like either that or hardcore. It's like it's
That's
like
true.
weirdly like those are like the two things where it's like okay, everybody is so like on the same page, just like on an intrinsic level where like we are all one. So either we're gonna pick it up or we're gonna freaking throw down, one or the other. Maybe
There you
both.
go.
Maybe both in the same song. Yeah, you never know.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. I mean, hey, if anything fun's happening, yeah.
All right, Mike, who do you got next?
Okay, so next I wanted to do we'll do Catbite. Catbite and is a family ska band. We love it. It's
Yep.
yeah, the lead vocalist and the guitarist are partners, which is amazing. And because again, we love a family ska band, it's great. And yeah, they're kind of uh, they're not so much horn wise, but I mean they will have horns on songs sometimes, but like it's all about the keys really, and because
Yeah,
the lead singer
absolutely.
also plays keys as well, and you know I I had heard a couple songs like here and there, but it wasn't until the wonderful when and again, uh, it's difficult to talk about given recent events and things, but when Laura Jane Grace and Catbite did the Operation Ivy cover, it blew everyone's
Oh
mind.
yeah.
Everyone talked about it, and it was a huge deal. Like obviously, so around that time is when I delved deeper into Catbite and like listened to their original stuff and was so impressed. I mean, again, collaborating with just people that are going to elevate songs. Like I think they've had Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy on a song.
Yep.
They're doing really cool stuff, and like again, like I don't really care. I think what we're learning through at least all the bands we've covered so far is that we're not interested in white people that play ska. Really,
Yeah.
white cis men that play ska. We're kind of done with that. I think I think that what's interesting in ska now is again listening to people with different perspectives, and honestly, yeah, if our list has shown us anything so far, it's like diversity is awesome. It's what makes ska great. It's what makes music great, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm all for that. Catbite is just another extension of that. She's talking about again her own experiences, like crazy like deep stuff for like ska, especially like I think like
Yeah.
getting stalked at night and stuff like that. Like and just like it's just stuff like that that's like okay well like that's again ska is fun and it's meant to be fun but it can explore these darker like more serious things as well while being catchy as hell
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
true.
other part it's like okay well I'm gonna get my message across because this song is catchy as hell but yeah we're talking about the darkest shit that we possibly can and so that's interesting. It's just that juxtaposition is also very cool. So yeah, that's cat bite, but yeah,
Catbite.
yeah, yeah, cat bite. It goes there. Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Jeff,
I
when did you if I was gonna say, did have you heard of Catbite before we made the list, or?
Yeah, I definitely had heard of and
Yeah,
had heard tracks here and there, had never done a deep dive.
yeah.
But obviously listened to a fair amount in preparation for this episode. And I think one of the things that stood out about them for me was just a really, really cool mashup of retro and modern. They take a lot of
Yeah.
like really retro, like dance hall sounds, but like it doesn't feel dated at the same time, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can listen to an old, vintage like band from that time period and it holds up, but this is like it sounds both retro and modern at the same time. And
Oh, 100%.
love the use of, the keys, the organ sounds, and I love a great female fronted ska band, whether Dance Hall Crashers, Save Ferris, like there's just I love it. I think it's one of those genres. Uh Not, I don't feel like it's misogyny, but like there's most of the bands that I listen to, especially in, the other genres that I listen to, are fronted by
Yeah,
dudes.
That's
It's a minority,
it's true.
that have front women. And I think it's getting better. I do think there's a shift happening, but it's overdue and it's slow. Whereas like ska has always had this great representation, like we've been talking about. It's inclusive. It's not
That's
gatekeeping
true.
as some other genres, and so yeah, I love a great female fronted ska band for sure.
I was going to say, I'm looking at the list of the bands that we're going to be covering on this, and there's quite a few that are female fronted.
yeah.
And I love that about ska is just how open and how does feel like a community. And that was one thing I noticed last year at Supernova is that it was literally felt like community. It felt like everyone knew each other, even if they just met that day.
Mhm.
No one was fighting. There were no harsh words. Everyone was just relaxed, chill. Let's go to the pit. If you fall down, we're going to get you up. And even then, I love that about ska. I really, really do. And I saw Catbite for the first time at they opened for the Bouncing Souls.
Oh, cool.
And such a great show, such a great live performance,
Definitely.
and getting to listen to them because I like to listen to bands before I go see them, just to, especially if I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And listening to Catbite, that was an experience. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And to kind of dovetail off of that to my next band, who is soon to be touring with Catbite, and that's Flying Raccoon Suit.
Nice.
So I had never heard of them before Supernova last year. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to see them because I was only going on Sunday. But still, I wanted to, when I started looking into the bands that were playing, specifically on the day that I was going, and then I started looking at the other bands that were playing throughout the weekend. And this was one of the bands that really stood out to me. This is one of the few bands that played that weekend that I truly regretted not seeing. Like I sincerely thought about buying another ticket, buying the Saturday ticket, and going just to see this band alone. It's another female fronted band, great horn lines, great messages. This is it's just a great band. It's a band that I really do and to this day enjoy listening to. I love Red Herring. Uh, there's so many great songs that they do. And it's just, they're amazing. I really can't say too much more than that. The fact that they are truly amazing. Uh,
Yeah. Well, let's shout out both Catbite and Flying Raccoon Suit. Are going, if you're a local listener, they're going to be in Norfolk in like 2 weeks. I think when this
September
episode
15th,
comes out. Yeah, September 15th, at the Tap House in Norfolk. And I'm so excited to say I haven't seen either of these bands live before. So I'm really excited. I missed Flying Raccoon Suit at Supernova last year. And so yeah, I'm so excited because that's, if you've been to Tap House, again, this is really only for locals, but it's a really small, intimate venue. Like it's going to be such a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, this was another band I did not know. again, didn't see them at Supernova last year. And if you know Supernova, there's so many bands, and so I applaud Rob for trying to listen to everybody. It's not possible. I was like, there are
It's
bands that I
hard.
already know and love there, and that's who I'm going for. And if I pick up, if I hear anybody new, that's fantastic. And so there were definitely some new bands I got from last year, but I just never got around to checking them out. And so I really really enjoyed them. A good mix of like uh I mean, there's some like that almost like and I may be way off base with the way my brain is interpreting, but almost like some of that um like Google Bordello and then another band who we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to bring them up yet, but like that almost more of like a gypsy, if you're politically incorrect, influence,
Yeah.
that kind of like gypsy punk ska. Like, man, I love it so much. It's so cool to just hear like different scales and different, chord structures that give it that kind of vibe to it. That is, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So they were of the ones that I checked out new for this episode. I think they might be my favorite. And so I'm really, really excited to see them in a couple weeks at Tap House.
Angle.
Yeah. I mean, again, yeah, obviously being a fan of Catbite, I had not heard of Flying Raccoon Soup, but again, being a fan of Catbite, I'm like, okay, well, I can see again, they're doing they're doing enough different where I'm like, okay, wow, I can see number one why they're touring together, but also like why they complement each other well. You know what I mean? Like as far
Yeah.
as like, okay. Um, just like yeah they yeah I will admit yeah I mean as far as knowing them ahead of this no I can't say I did it all but yeah everything I heard I was loving yeah so I mean
Nice.
that's all I can say on Flying Raccoon Suit.
All right, Jeff. Number three.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who I'm gonna bring up now. But you know what? I think let's keep the female fronted bands going. And
Big
so I'm
fan.
gonna bring up Half Past Two.
Yep.
Yes.
Half Past Two, again, another female fronted ska band. And this is probably the outlier of the bands that I'm bringing in the sense that, I've talked about, most of it like if a ska band has a punk beat, I don't know if you guys can hear the sounds of Empire flying over my house right now. There's jets, so I apologize if that's bleeding
Oh,
through on the audio, but
no, not yet. No, we're good.
well, good. Uh, totally throw off my train of thought though. So yeah, oh yeah, I was like, hey, if my ska band if you get your punk beat in my ska, I'm a happy dude, right? So like, but this is like totally off that vibe. Like they're definitely more of that like vibing, like dance hall style. Really gets you into a groove. Their vocalist has such a just a perfect voice for that style. Like it's so smooth and yeah, it's just really really good. I found funny enough, I found Half Past Two because I have every year the day after Thanksgiving I put on my seasonally appropriate playlist that I've been building for like 10 plus years. And so it has all kinds of, Christmas songs, winter themed. If you have the word December in the song, I'm including you, right? Because I want to. And so, Half Past Two had just such a brilliant EP that they released a holiday EP, and it was called Holidays. And the concept behind it was I can't remember if it was 4 or 5 tracks, but they just covered 4 or 5 different songs called Holiday. And so it was the Holidays EP. So they covered Holiday by Green Day, Holiday by
Nice.
Madonna, Holiday
Yes.
by Weezer, I think Turnstile. It's just every song on there was a band or was a song
A
called
different
Holiday that they
holiday,
covered.
yeah.
And not only did they do a fantastic job, but it was just so clever. And so I found that and added it to my seasonally appropriate playlist. And then again, through that, got into their original stuff. So again, it's covers, man. Covers get me in the door. That's why, I mean, honestly, that's why a lot of bands do them, right? That's what they're kind of designed for. Um, but yeah, it's definitely more of a retro sound, more of that dance hall, very smooth, very chill. Like
Yeah.
You just want to be sipping on something or smoking something while you're listening to it. Her voice is so perfect for that style, and yeah, I just can't say enough about them. They're great.
Did you know about the mango before the?
No, but yeah, I mean, yeah, no, but I mean, it definitely, as far as like the chill vibes go, I was definitely picking up on that for sure. But yeah, I had not even no. But yeah, again, her voice is amazing, and I mean, yeah, just again, very everything Jeff said. Geez, yeah, I couldn't articulate it better myself. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did. I had not heard about Half Past Two, and yeah, well, from what I heard, yeah, absolutely. Again, just again that is, I guess that speaks again to the dichotomy of ska, where it's like, okay, even the more dub, like chill relaxed stuff is as appealing as the up tempo just fun party stuff, and
Sure.
that's yeah, that part of ska, as well as just again the ability for different vote, like the just like for just as a for example, yeah, like Half Past Two comparison to like Jer's vocals, where it can literally be any, Scott can literally be anything, and that is
Mhm.
what is amazing about it. And yeah, just
100%.
love Half Past Two. Good stuff, nice recommend.
Yeah. And they are another band with a good social media presence. I know we've kind of been talking about that, but
Yeah.
their
For
their
sure, yeah.
videos and their stuff are they're cute and quirky. Like it's a really good presence, really good brand that they got on
Nice.
social media as well.
All right, Angle. Who's your third band?
Okay, well, yeah, I guess I'll keep the dub train rolling, but yeah, one that is a little more off kilter that I brought to the table was Spiritual Cramp, where maybe not,
Not quite a ska band.
yeah, not quite a ska band for sure, no, but just one that I wanted to talk about for sure, and one that I do think people should be listening to for sure. Like they have that classic, like just kind of beat you over the head, four on the floor, like kind of like Clash style that I love.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is like very very appealing to me. But again, it is of again, like we've been discussing, is of a throwback era, while still like production wise seeming super new, and using techniques that are, um, for lack of a better word, just like really, poppy and stuff, like with just like haze, stuff like that, just like
Yeah.
that little ear candy that honestly, like, yeah, I love stuff like that, that ear candy that is all over, albums like London Calling and stuff like that, where it's just like, okay, this is going to become, a brainworm for sure. And so, and
Yeah.
getting your craw real good. So, yeah, I love Spiritual Cramp. Just really, kind of, straightforward, but oh well, yeah, punky, but like at the same time, they're doing upstrokes, they're doing kind of, a lot of palm muting type stuff. Like, I know we don't get into like the weeds of like technical stuff, but like, their guitar work and what they're doing, mixed with the guy's vocals. I love his delivery. And yeah, Spiritual Cramp is a band that rocks.
Great band. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed listening to them.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah. I appreciate it.
What did you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I just put as many songs from these bands that I could on one big shuffle, right? Because
Yeah.
it's you're busy, you're going around your things, kind of have it going on in the background, and it was fun when they would come up on the shuffle because it was a little bit of a palate cleanser because they are
Right.
quite a bit different than everything else that's on here,
Yeah.
but still very good. I think it definitely fits. Um, and yeah, you mentioned the Clash. That's very much what it reminded me of. That like late 70s early 80s punk vibe, but done really well, and with modern production techniques and tricks to really shine it up really good. So I think it's kind of what a lot of those bands would have sounded like if they were recording with the kind of technology we have at our disposal
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe they still would have, wanted preferred that far less produced sound, probably. But either way, yeah, it was a great palate cleanser, a little bit different than everything else, but still really, really enjoyable. I liked it a lot and was not familiar with them. I don't, some of these bands I was like, okay, I know them by name, but none of their, not listen to them. This was totally new for me and really enjoyable.
Awesome. Yeah. And they got a new album coming out. It itself is called Rude, harkening back to Rude Boys and all of that. So again, yeah, very much keep an eye out for that because again, even just recently, yeah, Jer's album, Death to the Heart. I mean, that when that came out, that it literally changed my top five. So just
Yeah,
these bands are also putting out music actively. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, we really
100%.
are like I feel like we're on the pulse,
All right. All right. So my number three comes out of Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And I've only really started listening to them in the last 2 months. And that is Stop the Presses.
So
More of like a keys-led version of ska, but so amazing. Great social media presence, amazing music, amazing vocals, another female-led band. And I will say this. So when I when we talked about this, and honestly, just on a whim the other day, I wrote to all five of the bands that I picked and asked if just I wanted to ask a question because I told them what we were doing, that we were covering bands you should know, and Stop the Presses took the time to actually reach back out and because I asked them one simple question. I was like, "It, what is one song you think people should listen to of yours?" And they took the time, very, very sweet, very nice, but took the time to reach out. And I Wasted Youth was one of their most popular songs they think people should be listening to. It came out in their 2019 album, Money in the Bank. But on their latest album, Got It, Ride or Die, which I listened to a couple times, which was a great song. And honestly, I've truly enjoyed them. They are playing Supernova this year on Saturday, so I'm very much looking forward to their set. It's going to be a great time. I'm stoked to hear them live. So,
Yeah. Again, this is definitely more of that. eh, Again, not speaking as an expert, we said our disclaimers at the beginning. This definitely reminds me more of that like two-tone vibe. Again, very
yeah,
classic sound.
100%.
But yeah, another one that it just fits. It's really good. The great vocals, great vibe is funny. I marked if a song came up like while one of the bands that I was listening to, I was like, "Ooh, I like that." Like I made a note of it
Yeah,
so in case it came up. And Ride or Die was one of those that like I was like, "Oh, yep, that was a good one."
yep,
So yeah, that's what I have in my notes as if I bring up a song, bring up this song. So yeah,
nice.
man, I liked it all. Another band that I was not familiar with, so thank you for putting us onto that. I'm looking forward to seeing them as Supernova as well.
Angle, you got anything?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, talk about yeah. You like a piano led. It's kind of like ska meets like a Yes, basically. Like yeah. I mean,
Yes.
he's really going to town on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed that about it, and yeah. I mean, again, just a band I had no idea even existed, but I mean, yes, very very talented. Talented.
Now we do.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So far we've each covered three bands. We've been here for about an hour. That is the end of part one of bands you should know. Please tune in next
The
week.
review.
Uh,
The
we're going to
M.
be
Night
doing our final
Shyamalan
two
twist.
bands, and we're going to be doing a top five list of the bands that we've covered. Come back next week, and as we finish up this episode, we're sorry this is taking so long. Anyways, guys, say bye. That's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.